Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai 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 Ram. Hari Om to everybody.
Hari Om Swami.
Yes.
Pranam.
Pranam. So how do we begin? Where do we begin?
7th chapter.
So yesterday we said up to 11 we will try to go through and to focus on 1 or 2 or 3. So 1 to 11, the moment we say first chapter to 11th chapter in Quest of God, how do we connect ourselves, relate ourselves with it?
Promptness from within.
Yes.
Will of God.
Will of God.
If anything happens in my life, it is will of God only.
Will of God, yes, then everything is right. We don't have to doubt whether what we say is right or wrong. Everything is right provided we owe to him, na?
Yes. Yes, Swami.
The reluctance comes because the intellect comes and says whether it is right or wrong. The moment we think that the prompting comes from within, we have to just express it. He is giving us an opportunity, facilitating an opportunity to express ourselves. And we don't have to colorize it whether it is all right, whether it is presentable, whether the language is presentable. It doesn't matter at all. Nothing matters here, accepting the fact that he is trying to touch and kindle so many things which are lying in us. That's all. So everybody can say, no, why everybody is not coming forward? That is the painful thing, in spite of telling this over and over and over again. Only a few people are responding.
Swamiji,
Ah.
in adversities only, in our daily life, we remember more of God, right? When life is going smoothly, I feel chanting of Ram Nam only is going on. But God remembrance, in adversities or troubles, difficulties, I feel God remembrance greater than in comfort or smooth life.
Okay.
Is it that way, Swamiji?
We have, through the chapters, we have found that this labeling is taken away, no? So we are trying to understand this basic lesson, that we don't paste it as adverse or positive. When we try to intellectually understand first that everything is ordained by him, then there can't be any labeling. But the intellect has been trained to label so far. So it rushes with that labeling. Immediately we say, oh, Hari Om, you have done it. You have done it. So that is the struggle everybody has. Intellectually we are convinced because we believe in the words of our master. It is logical, rational. It is approved by Shastras. So we don't have anything to worry about it. But when it comes to the practical application, it doesn't go well. So we have to try.
How to have the link between the Vyavaharic world and the concept of divine world? That is the gap.
Rely on inner guru.
Rely on inner guru.
Yes.
Yes. Papa has never sought any guidance from outside. So right from day one of his sadhana, God blessed him that God and Guru are one and God and Guru are within. Periodical satsang, retreat, that will help us to go to the source of all sources. Not only the source of our individuality, but also the source of all objects, but also the source of God, no? Who is the originator. Yes, then.
Surrender, Swamiji. Surrender.
Surrender comes only when we know that right from our birth till this moment, he is behind everything. Intellectually we know, but we now try to make a list, Just like when we go for shopping, we make a list, either in the mind or in a list. What all I should. So similarly, we make a list. What all we have been blessed with. And we start with our life, I did not bring the life to myself, the so-called sense of individuality. Life was given to me. I am a product of that life. From there I start. And everything. Then I realize that everything has been provided to me by him. Then only the humility will come, then only the surrender aspect will come. Otherwise the intellect will keep on asserting. I did this, I did that, I learned this, so many things, it will come. But suppose we go to our own source and the source of all objects and situations, we find. And fulfillment and non-fulfillment, The Tirupati, he goes all the way. In Pondicherry, he goes all the way. And the desire, the prompting was given by God, and God saw to it that it is not fulfilled. That is why Papa did not get at all any, there was no complaints or disappointment at all for him, because it was his will. So surrender is a word we can easily utter, but to accept all situations as ordained by him, it requires severe tapas, severe practice. So in that case, there won't be anything called diversity. What is that? Adversity. Adversity will not be there. To him, there was no adversity at all. So this is the lesson he teaches.
But what about the pain that one faces because of adversity?
How
can that be handled?
Yeah. We all know the easy way to tell is pain precedes deliverance. For anything and everything, there is a process. And the process is definitely painful. You have to reach Painfulness, I don't say everything is bodily painful. There are so many types of pains, Stress. Anything that you have to sacrifice something, you have to undergo certain pain. Then you know then you and I realize that it is a process. We call it as pain. We are made to go through a process. The mother goes through a process of delivery. A rod, if it has to become a nut or bolt, it has to pass through the lathe. Is it not? But passing through, suppose it had mouth to explain, you would say how severe it is. There is a beautiful PPT which will appear in the session here. A travel from one stage to another stage. It is painful. Many types of pain, we don't recognize it as pain because we have understood that it is a process. When we go to a doctor, when we have a thorn, and when he takes it, though he puts some needle or something, it is painful. Injection, it's painful. Surgery, it is painful. But we don't grumble, complain, because we know it is for our ultimate deliverance from the pain, from the inhibition. So we will start thinking about it.
The stone undergoes so much of pain by the sculptor before it becomes a beautiful idol.
Exactly. A sculpture, when he says that, there's a beautiful word. He says, a soul fired with a burning zeal and an unconquerable heroism can alone cross the boundary and enter the kingdom of eternal joy and peace. The next line. Just as an unshapen stone can be fashioned into a beautiful image worthy of adoration and worship only after it has received many a stroke of the chisel, so also a distorted and inharmonious life has to pass through many a trial, suffering, tribulation before the great change could come over it, before the life of ignorance could be transmuted into a life of immortal splendor and joy, fit to be revered, fit to be adored. Just as an unshapen stone can be fashioned into a beautiful image worthy of adoration and worship only after it has received many a stroke of the chisel. So also a distorted and inharmonious life has to pass through many a trial, suffering and tribulation before the great change could come over it, before the life of ignorance could be transmuted into a life of splendor and joy, fit to be revered and adored. If we are always conscious of these words, the chiseling is going on, shaping is going on. Puja Swamiji used to mention one, rubbing and scrubbing, Nowadays we don't know. Previously we were washing our clothes like this, We all still do it like this. From the standpoint of the clothes, we do like this, scrubbing. So scrubbing and that is painful, no doubt. But the outcome will be free from clean. We try to internalize all these matters so that when God puts us through such trying moments, we get a cushioning. We may not be able to free ourselves from the pain fully, but there will be a cushioning effect.
So, Guruji, does that mean that people who are much a spiritual path, you will get more of the chisel than ordinary. Not like that.
Not necessarily. In some cases, mostly it cases. But in the case of Ramana Bhagavan, where was the chisel? Where was the shaping? In the case of Sri Anandamayama, Amritanandamayama had to go through a lot of things. Anandamayama, right from her birth, she was able to dwell on this like Bhagavan. So it is not a must. But generally we feel, as you said, there is a departure from the common run of life. In Papa's case, yes. In Mataji's case, yes. He had to undergo the severest stressful period. That was the chiseling. And when Mataji lost her most loving husband at the age of 20, the most painful thing in her life, that was the instrumental cause for turning them towards God. So it is not that we have to necessarily go through, but we have seen this, and we, in some or other ways, we are subjected to pass through many trying moments, At that time, we try to feel, oh, the chiseling is going on. Kindly enable me to accept it so that the outcome will be good, no doubt. I know that. But the outcome is really painful. Please help me. Very good. Yes. Anything else?
Swamiji,
Ah.
by chiseling, Guru or God removes the unwanted things.
Okay. And brings out what is in us. The sculpture does not bring anything new. He was able to see the beautiful figure of Nataraja in that, and he removed what is blocking that, In his mind, we had shared this. We had opportunities to go and discuss with Stapadis, who are doing this. Then we asked them, how do you make a vigraha out of a rough stone or a marble? Then they explained, when you come with an order, we will ask to give you a photograph of the deity or the person. When we went to Gujarat, we went to a marble where statues are made, marble statues. There we saw Gandhiji's, Patel, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, so many national leaders, Swami Vivekananda, everybody was there. So we asked them, exactly, exactly means it's a replica. So he said, we will ask for the photo. We will intensely see that photo. Not simply seeing, minutely. If they are concentrating on the head or the forehead, they will minutely observe. There is this one, lips, nose, and then they have got it out of their own experience, that expertise. And then they see that in that rough stone or marble. And then they try to remove with the chisel. So in their language, it is there what is obstructing the emergence of the inherent form is removed. And all of them, in one voice, they said, it's purely by His grace only we can do. Because right from the start up to the finish, we have to be attentive, careful. Because if one stroke misses, then all the work that you have done, finished. Suppose one finger, this nail, I have come up complete. Suppose it goes. So they said, whatever may be the expertise God has given us through experience, ultimately His grace is needed. And he said, when the question, only the I part, that will be the last one we will be doing it. So at that time, we will intensely pray to Him to guide us properly, to guide the hand properly, to handle the tools properly, because it is the eye that everybody will be looking. And that is going to be the source of inspiration to innumerable people for decades or centuries, So we should be very careful. So only He can help us. He who has given us this expertise can alone help us. It's a wonderful learning. So after that, when we read Papa's, it became very clear because we had an interactive session with them in Cochin as well as in Gujarat. In Cochin with the people who are handling the granite. Because where we were staying, there was a temple, so they wanted the deity of Lord Vinayaka and Lord Ayyappa and Devi. So we went there to place our order. And at that time, we asked the chief, can we go inside and see? Why not? Then we had an interaction with the people who are actually involved in it, their workshop. So everybody was looking at the photo intently, every now and then they will be looking at it. And seeing the figure there. So like that, God is trying to remove, initially through an outer guru, and later on with the inner guru, remove that which covers Him who is within us. Yes, anything else?
Earlier, Swami, you were talking about going from stress to serenity. If you can please talk about the path a little bit.
When we took up the in-depth study of In Quest of God, many a times we have gone through that. Papa did not reveal that to us. But last year when he made us to take up this in-depth study, one fine morning he directed, go to the first line, few lines and go to the last line. And that is the contents of these 37 chapters. So just like in Bhagavad Gita, it starts with Vishada Yoga, Arjuna Vishada Yoga to Moksha Prapti Yoga. So he says, I cannot do, I will not fight. He drops the Gandiva, sits there, I cannot. But 16 chapters, after hearing 16 chapters, the different facets of the individual life, social life, and God, different facets, he was thoroughly convinced that he is only an instrument, so he doesn't have to bother about anything. So when God gave him even the democratic right to choose, Yadhechasi tatha guru, whatever you feel, you can do it. But Arjuna said, Karishye vachanam tava, whatever you have said, I will follow. So from stress, he was cleared. And Nashto Moho, he says, I am clear of all the delusions. He started with delusion, then finally said, I am clear about my delusion. Similarly, here he started with a stressful period, which I read out to you then. And on the last page he says, I am leading a serene life. Immediately Papa from inside says, this is the content. So when you start your life as an individual, you are subject to go through many trying moments, stressful moments. But actually you have named it as stressful because you are viewing it from the individual level. When you try to raise yourself, and from the higher level when you see, it is not a stress, it's only serenity. Outer circumstances remain the same. The one which you have named as stress or stressful, it is no longer stressful for you. So that is the message of Papa through In Quest of God. So that is why when the small booklet was made, he prompted us to give this word. Have I not told you? Oh, sorry. Put it, stress to serenity. So that everybody can easily connect themselves. And it contains about 198 points. Then we thought nobody will be able to remember everything. So we put that 98, again some more churning was done, reduced to 24. And that is also the quintessence we have brought it. So that at least 24. Even if 24 is not there, you can again bring it down to 10 or 11. No? And just like now, we have been associating with ashram for more than 58 years. But only last year he made us to know this trust to. So even tomorrow when we take up, he may honor something more. So then we look back to our own life. It was stressful for him, it was stressful for us also. But at that time, though we had some cushioning, it was not as clear. But when we go deep, deep down within quest of God, then we find nothing is adverse. Everything was a learning, everything was a learning. Everything was a test, everything was an examination. When I come out of the examination, I say, it is too tough today, I don't think I'll get a pass. No, we say that. That means what? We have not absorbed, we have not assimilated what has been taught to us or what is expected of us as a student. That is why examinations are held for evaluation, only to evaluate the level of our absorption, level of our assimilation. So similarly, when I keep on blaming either persons or situations or objects for all the failures, they should have told me, they have not won me, suddenly they have changed the plan, all those things we say, It is because I have not prepared myself. I forgot, or I keep forgetting that God is planning. The master planner has got his own ideas. And I'm insisting for my plan. So he gives me not your plan, my plan. Anything else? We have not moved from 11th chapter, only tomorrow is there.
On the point of sculptor creating the image out of the stone, I remember you once mentioned that there is a very, very small defect which the sculptor was trying to correct. But the person who was watching this, he said, why do you bother with such a small defect? Nobody will notice. Then the sculptor said, I will notice.
I will notice.
So, this is an example of your work.
It really touched us, when he said that. Nobody will be able to know all these small things. I know it, no. So that means perfection to 100%, no? Perfection not 98, 99. Perfection means free from flaws, For excellence, if you go to the dictionary, you will find the meaning as free from flaws. So not even to not 1%, there should be a slip. Tough job. That is why the deity, attracts thousands and thousands and thousands of people, Everybody knows that it remains untouched, unaffected, unresponsive in the way in which we understand activities. But why do we rush up? Lakhs and lakhs of devotees are going to Shabarimala. Now it is the season. Because there are 2-3 things. One is the sculptor doing it efficiently. We saw, karma, yoga karma su kaushalam. Efficiency in action, dexterity in action is yoga. Yoga means union with God. The other one is the tantri who made that pratishtha of a highly evolved soul. Because they say prana pratishtha. He gives the life into it. Then only from the sculptor's workshed, when it has to become an object of worship, a lively deity, not an inert, insufficient. To a bhakta, it is It is not a Vigraha. It is deity. That feeling, how does it come? Through faith, through bhakti. How does that bhakti get kindled? Because of that tantri when he does the prana pratishtha. As we have shared, one tantri shared this, with us, that he has to sit, on that particular day when all the mantras are chanted with the faith and devotion, and they keep their hand and darba and the water in different kalashas, and the power is instilled into the water through the recitation of the mantra. And then, with all these kalasha, they go inside, close the door. And the tantri has to sit within, and he has to make an inward journey where he pleads to the indwelling reality who is without name and form, to assume the name and form in that Vigraha, so that his indwelling nature will be revealed to innumerable people over different times and climes, not merely the Vigraha, but through the Vigraha, the indwelling reality. So when his prayer becomes intense, he gets the message intuitively. Yes. And at that time he pours the water on the Vigraha and then superimposes, which is called Avahanam, superimposes the Shakti on that. And when he comes out, if we look at the Tantri, we will know, like a sun, blazing. That means he has identified himself totally with the indwelling reality, and that indwelling reality is pouring its grace on that in the form of water, not ordinary water, sanctified water. For so many days they have done it. And then that particular deity is, everybody has the darshan of the deity, not the Vigraha. So the Vigraha gets upgraded, graduated in that form because of the intense inward journey and identification with the indwelling reality of the Tantri. That is why Tantris are given so much of importance, not anybody else.
Swamiji, when we go to temple, we feel so much of peace of mind. It's because of now you told now the superimposed power on the deity.
Yeah. Because even in our ordinary this thing, we do the same thing. Suppose on a Vinayaka Chaturthi day or any such thing, what we do, we start with this. Sri Vigneshwaram Dhyayami Avahayami Swagatam. I meditate on Lord Vinayaka. I now superimpose that. He is the indwelling reality. For the sake of my offering my worship, I superimpose on this object, my photo, in my puja room. And then I don't see him as the photo there. I see him as a lively person, and I offer what all I do for a person whom I adore, whom I invite. So that is why I say Swagatam, welcome. Right from that, you start. And you give him bath, you give him new clothes, you sing the glories, and then you offer him food, then you offer bitter leaves, then you say arati, you prepare, then you say, while concluding the puja, what you do? Visarjanam. Though we say, Yathasthanam pradishtapayami. Wherever you are there, please. Whenever I want, you should come out. Yathasthanam pradishtapayami shobhanarte punaragamanaya. Please come out again. whenever. So this is how we are doing it individually in our home. So there, the same thing he has done. So it all depends upon the intensity of the tapasadi. That is why all temples don't, attract us. But some temples do attract us, So it depends upon. And that means it will touch and kindle the bhakti in us, devotion in us. The Nirguna cannot be straight away approached. So through Saguna we go to the Nirguna. In that, Vinobaji's explanation is superb. In talks on Gita, if you go to that particular chapter, you will see that Saguna Nirguna. He says that is the height of Nirguna. The form which we say Saguna, because it remains untouched, unruffled. Nothing happens. Whatever we offer Naivedya, we say we are offering Naivedya, but not a grain is touched. We say we are offering flowers, but we take it up. We pour Abhisheka, we clean it, no? It remains there, untouched and unaffected. So he has brought it out beautifully, not necessary.
This is very powerful, Swamiji.
That particular one, that particular word is worth remembering. Oh, sorry, this is mine, no? I thought what I am doing. What appears Saguna from one angle may appear Nirguna from another. In Saguna worship, a stone idol is looked upon as a symbol of God. Vinobaji's words. But it is the mother and the saint that divine consciousness is clearly manifest. Wisdom, love, tenderness of affection are palpable in them. Still, they are not worshipped as the idols of the Lord. Instead of serving the people full of consciousness, instead of seeing Saguna God in them, God is seen in an inanimate stone. To see God in a stone is in essence the height of Nirguna. It is easier to see God in the saints, the parents, the neighbors who can be seen to have wisdom, love, altruism. It is far more difficult to see God in a stone. Still we worship the stone idol. Why? Is it not really, verily the form of Nirguna worship? On the other hand,
Plus mark.
To sum up, Saguna and Nirguna are complementary to each other. Saguna is easier than Nirguna, but in another. On the other hand, if one feels that if God is not to be imagined in a stone, where else can we find him? A stone is the most appropriate thing to become God's symbol, as it is unruffled, unmoved, peaceful, and undisturbed under any circumstances. Our parents, neighbors, and the people in general, all these have their weaknesses. You are bound to find some or other weakness or fault in them. Hence, serving them in a sense is more difficult than worshipping a stone. To sum up, Saguna and Nirguna are complementary to each other. Saguna is easier than Nirguna, but in another sense, Nirguna is easy, Saguna is difficult. Both lead us to the same end.
If food is equivalent to Saguna, the nutrition value is equivalent to Nirguna.
It is inherent. It is inherent, yeah. Gross form and a subtle form. Spirit and matter, no? Every one of us is a combination of so many matters. But matters by itself does not give this sense of individuality. So the spirit should be there, life force should be there. Life force by itself cannot become palpable. Only through matter it becomes palpable. That is why Saguna and Nirguna are complementary. The existence of the spirit is possible only through a matter. No? The matter becomes enlivened only in the presence of a spirit. So both are interlinked. It is not separate. Okay, why did we take up the Saguna Nirguna?
The temple, she said.
On the temples.
Chisel, okay, chiseling.
Temple, vibration in the temple.
That is because of the Vigraha. Vigraha because of chiseling, So ultimately that particular word. And again, it does not stop. Somebody asked about the pain, So pain precedes deliverance. So pain we started. This is how he is leading us to various things, One small doubt on one particular thing. And with that, he is leading us to so many things, so many facets of spirituality. And everything answers to what exactly is our need. Anything else? So we started this with the will of God, That is the essence of the whole thing. Surrender, another word we heard. That is the quintessence of this entire thing. Acceptance of all situations. Another line. Naming it something as adverse, that will not be there. That is there, that is the quintessence. So like that, whenever any such stress, yes, it is there everywhere. From one angle it is stress. From another angle, everything is serene. From one angle, absolutely it is stress. But from a different angle, it is not. An act of kindness, an act of sacrifice, an act of selflessness, there the pain does not come, Though enormous risk is taken. Somebody slips into an ocean, an onlooker immediately jumps to save him, In the ordinary goal, suppose he will think 100%, but there the spontaneity, comes and he immediately jumps, whether he will be able to lift that body, whether he will be able to save them, all these things, whether it is a gender, what gender is that person, what religion, what caste, nothing will come, God's creation. And you can watch now, when the excellence comes, all these diversities go. Suppose you are a football lover. You must have been witnessing the football tournament, There nothing comes. Though you are emotionally attached to one team, but still, no religion, no region, why, nothing comes there, You only see the player. No prefix, no suffix. That is why, you are attracted to these sports. There you are only trying to find out an excellence. And when they perform the excellence, which is nothing but the expression of God, you get thrilled. Of course, you really miss the excellence because you are attached to a particular team. Suppose you are impartial, just like the referee, They also teach us through a referee how he remains impartial and at the same time watchful. And at the same time, his words are final. Think about it, so many things have to be learned when we watch a match. For our life, there is a connection between the sport or the game. Nobody will take any individual credit. It is it's a collective effort. The victory is the outcome of a collective effort. So many such things they teach us. So from anything we can learn. That is what Papa teaches us. Anything, from the tiniest to the grossest. You said something.
Guruji, if everything is God's will, then what is the purpose of doing sadhana?
Until we reach that stage where that everything is given by Him. Now you feel you are an individual, and you make individual effort for all your life, Until you hand over yourself completely to Him, you need to to realize that. Now only knowledge, Somebody has said, we are believing. It has not become an actuality. So that is why God has given us the opportunity to do self-effort. Self-effort Papa used to put it bluntly, sadhana is to know that by sadhana you cannot attain Him. Sadhana, that means self-effort alone will not, unless His grace is there. When I realize that even the sadhana, He is prompting me to do it. He is facilitating me to do it. If I think I am doing 1,000 malas, I am doing 1 lakh malas, 1 lakh times of chanting a day, I will not reach anywhere. But the moment we feel God makes me to do 1 mala, then I have brought in the God factor there, no? It is for that purpose I am doing mala, no? Not for the sake of the count. Just to know that He is making me to chant. If I keep on thinking that I am chanting, I will never reach. That's why He said, sadhana is to know that by sadhana alone you cannot achieve. But sadhana is prompted by Him. That is why He often quotes Swami Ramtirtha's, I remember you, O Lord, because you remembered me first. If you don't remember me, I cannot remember you.
So remembering God is also God's grace?
God, everything is God's grace.
Remembering your grace.
Not only remembering. Even now we are sitting because of Him.
Sports is an excellent example of elevation from I to we. Because I play, we win.
Somebody is talking. Tell me.
Sports is an excellent example of
Pattabhiramji, please wait.
Please wait.
Please wait.
If I got this apple, if I cut it, I can count the seeds in this apple. But I can't count how many seeds in that, how many apples in that seed.
Can I count?
That I want to anybody can count.
It is
How
innumerable.
many apples in that
If that seed sprouts and becomes an apple tree, and for how many years it will live, and how many years it will give us the fruit, no? Innumerable. So that is why from one seed we have become many.
So,
Ah,
counting.
ah. Yes, Pattabhiramji?
Pattabhiramji, now you can.
Maybe
Ah.
the sports is an excellent example of elevation from I to we.
I too.
I play, but we win.
Correct.
And
I
indirectly.
play, we win. Correct.
Thank you, sir.
So how to get God's grace then?
We have to pray to Him. No, we have not asked so far.
No, the sadhana doesn't take.
Sadhana does take us to know that we have to pray. What is sadhana? Say here when you come, the sadhana is Nam Seva Dhyan. So what is for Nam Seva Dhyan for what? Nama to remember Him, Seva to remember Him, Dhyana to remember Him. Remember whom? Remember whom? The one who is making me to do Nama, the one who makes me to do Seva, the one who makes me to do Dhyana. I've been thinking that the sense of individuality is doing this. So the sense of individuality through its self-effort is trying to know that it owes its origin to that base. At this moment, because when you started planning to come to ashram, you planned, lot of efforts you put it, and then you reached here. So we are at that level. We are not bringing God into the picture. God gave me the prompting to come to ashram. God in the form of train, God in the form of plane facilitated me. God in the form of so many people assisted me in traveling. God in the form of the taxi or the auto rickshaw brought me to the ashram. That we don't think. Until such time, we think we have come, so we have to plan and do it. In quest of God, you will find Papa did not plan at all. Every moment he was looking up the guidance from within. That is the sadhana. So self-effort enables us to know that by self-effort alone we cannot reach. But we have to do it, then only we will know. Simply if you sit, we will not be able to. So we do Nama, we do Seva, we do Dhyana. At the same time, we try to experience that it is He who facilitates me to do Nama, to do Seva, to do Dhyana. And when the moment I get this, I may do, I may not do, not necessary. Because even in chanting, he says, a stage will come divine name is a ladder by the help of which you ascend to the supreme zenith of the above described state. Above described means, he was talking about consciousness state. When through the repetition of the name the mind gets absorbed, dissolved in the ocean of stillness and peace, not chanting, When through the repetition of the name, the mind gets dissolved in the ocean of stillness and peace within you, repetition of the name is no longer necessary. Of course, off and on you can drink the nectar of the charming music of the name, but do not depend entirely upon this music for your peace and bliss. Because no joy which is conditioned and dependent can be permanent. So we also use this Nama chanting to reach that stage. And the Nama also goes. We are trying to see the source from which the Nama emanates. Then not necessary, So that is what is called self-effort. Anything else?
Swami,
Ah.
for the clarity of vision of the eye, an ophthalmologist do operations for cataract. So for the mind, inner Guru Swamiji has done so many. to uplift each and every mind. Am I correct?
If it is correct for you, it's all right. Because cataract, as we understand, cataract
Clarity of vision comes after clarity.
cataract serves as a wheel or a curtain and blocking us to have the correct vision. So when we go to the cataract surgery for the table, what he does is removing it.
Yes.
And then we get our original vision.
Divine vision.
Yeah. So that is why when we say in Guru Stuti, Ajnana Timirandasya, Timira means cataract. No? Timira is called cataract in Sanskrit. Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurin Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So the Guru does the removal of this Ajnana Timiram, this veil of ignorance, this cataract of ignorance. So any act will connect us towards that. We don't see just as a cataract operation. When we hear of the cataract operation, immediately this should come back to us. That means everywhere he is there, no? Whether it is in the form of a surgeon or the disease of a cataract, everywhere he is trying to point out his existence. Then, anything else? So one more day we have, you can choose tomorrow. What should be the topic from day after tomorrow, 24th onwards? Evening we will have the Satsang program, first Satsang program on 24th. Parampujya Swami Padmanabhanji Maharaj of DLS Rishikesh will be arriving today. And for 24th morning itself, Ramnam, Akhanda Ramnam starts. It will go on till 31st morning. And then every day Papa is giving us an opportunity to have a wonderful feast in the form of forenoon and afternoon satsang, where though the thrust will be on the in-depth study of Inquest of God, through so many methods, he is trying to give us more and more clarity on this. Through his various devices, he made the science and technology to help us to a very great extent. So with that science and the scientific or the technological progress is helping us to understand him better through PPTs, through videos, through prayer, through songs, somehow to hammer this truth into our mind. So with a heart full of gratitude towards Papa who is facilitating everything for us, let us try to go through that. Let us not treat it as a program. Let us not treat it as a session. Let us try to accept it as an in-depth study of our own self, vis-a-vis our relation with the world outside and God inside. So three things are there. We are trying to have an harmonious connection. Me, the sense of individuality; he, the indwelling reality and the co-creation. If we can connect this triangle, our life becomes blissful, purposeful, successful, and ultimately peaceful. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri